Alright guys, this is game 2 of that epic UnSweet and NohatCoder match from the 2021 TAC Open tournament, and they played really well. That first game was phenomenal. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. Absolutely, it's the previous video and it's so good. But this was just like a couple minutes after that 55-minute game, basically an hour long that they played that game. And this was just like 2 minutes later. So they took no breaks here and jumped right into the second game. And man, I commend them for that because I do not have the endurance for that. Anyway, this is game 2. Let's jump right into it. And here we go with game 2. UnSweet versus NohatCoder. Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be great. Let's see how they played this one. UnSweet as black now, Nohat as white. Gonna go with those adjacent corners. Are we gonna see the mirrored opening here? We see white. Yep, going straight for that mirrored opening. And Nohat playing it E2. Was that a misclick? That had to have been a misclick. What is he? I am very unfamiliar with this opening. It doesn't look like it's a misclick. What's going on? It's some newfangled opening for white that I haven't seen before, and I've already played Nohat this tournament, and he didn't do that on me, I don't think. I probably would have noticed. Oh, granted, I did play my special opening as black, so that probably turned that on its head. Let's see. But white is still maintaining momentum here. Will he play at A2 now? Or will he play at A3? A3 has the benefit of being able to go vertical and horizontal at the same time. A2, okay. Doesn't. Goes for C5, then black goes D5. This is nuts. Okay, let's see. White playing now at black at C6. Does white want to play now at B6? No? What's going on? I feel like white B6 was better, but white still hasn't dropped a capstone. It looks like white is looking for black to make a capture so they can drop that white capstone there when that capture takes place. All right, so B6 is played after the black E4. I mean, white's got momentum here. He can play at A2, and he does do the A2 play. And then if that wall comes left, he can play at B2 or even at C2 and still have that same threat. But the wall should go up onto B3 to stop this. That does a lot more damage, I think. Ooh, a second wall, even more brutal. Now we're going to see C2 placed to continue that threat maybe, or maybe even just a capstone at C2, which would threaten in two different ways that same road threat. Number one being placing at C1, and number two being smashing the wall at B2 with the capstone. But he's not going to do that. He's just going to place that capstone there for now. Or not capstone, flat stone there for now. That flat stone will still be a threat. White comes over with the cap. Interesting. Will white now drop the capstone at D3? For some reason, I don't think they will. They may play over here at A5, A4 area. That seems likely. but instead they played it D. Wait, they played it. No, so they did play the capstone. Okay, and then black comes down here. Okay, here's something I like. I like white now playing at C1, which effectively pins this cap. And I like white maybe playing off to the side, going for this horizontal line, and coming down with the capstone to threaten a horizontal road, while coming down with the capstone also threatens smashing for this vertical road at the same time. That sort of dual prong threat is nasty indeed. But instead going to be playing over here off to F5. White seems very firmly in control of this game at the moment. White is wanting to play for that horizontal threat. Going to be playing at A5 or A4 here on the next couple turns to be able to build across on the upper end of this board. Black trying to come up with something to do to combat all of this from white. Maybe black wants to play at C1 to try and make that vertical threat happen. It is a possibility, but instead black decides to play up at E6. Up here in the top section of the board, able to come down and cut off on E5 to keep them from building that horizontal road. It looks like that's their play now. What will black, or what will white do now? White dropping at A4, making that road threat. I like dropping at A4 more than A5, and my reason is A5 could be captured by the A6. A4 can't be captured by this wall because it would create a road. So now we've got this line. What's black going to do? Is black going to capture over maybe with a C6 or maybe with an E6? No, going to come over with the D5. That's interesting. I can see white maybe playing here at D5 with a wall, and sure enough, that's exactly what they do, to come over and capture onto C5 and liberate that captive. Really keeping up in terms of flat count. Let's take a look at the flat count right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plus 2 is 12. To 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 to 12 right now in terms of flats. And if you notice, white has not made a single capture. Not one. No captures made. Only placements. That is solid opening play. Now, if you've watched my Tech University video on captures, you'll know that that is excellent opening play because it's forcing your opponent to make these captures and create these liabilities while you just keep placing flats. Really, really excellently done. This is where I believe we'll see, yep, the wall come over. Now, black likely wants to fill in here on D5. Because if they don't fill in on D5 and white does, then white can just make another attack threat by filling in there at D5. It is a very tough position right now for black. Black could... Maybe black is thinking of smashing. That may be a plan right now. An option that they're going for of smashing that wall on C5 with their capstone stack. They would have to leave behind a number of white flats, and it wouldn't do much for their current position, but in terms of offense, but it would maybe work in terms of defense. And it would likely lead to the first captures of the game by white. I am surprised that it's move 18 and white made their first capture with a wall. No flat captures, no capstone captures, but finally on move 18, a wall capture. So that's excellent opening play right there. So new players, take note. Very sparing on the captures and able to make excellent flat placements to further their position and interrupt their opponent's position at the same time. Really, really well done. Let's see what UnSweet can do to get out of this. He played very well in the previous game, and Nohat played very well in the previous game. And I think it's interesting here because we've got two very strong players who played very well in the previous game, but it was an hour long. Basically, an hour long. I think it was 50 minutes or something like that. And that's a long time. And Nohat has previously shown that he has the longevity and the endurance to keep playing game after game after game when we played in Blitz tournaments. And he played very strong, even when it was 3 hours straight of nonstop Blitz tack. Which, let me tell you, 2 games of Blitz tack is taxing. Taxing? Taxing? That's fun. 2 games of Blitz tack is taxing. But 8 games of Blitz tack is insane. And he was able to keep up that endurance and keep up his quality of play. And so that may come into play here after having an hour-long game 1. And UnSweet's still taking a lot of time on this turn, trying to figure out what to do here. And I think it's a good time to take that time, because the previous moves haven't had as much hinging on them, but this one definitely does. Definitely a close one for sure. Black just down to 10 minutes now, and Nohat up at 16 and a half minutes on the clock, starting with 15 minutes, and that's plus 15 seconds on the increment. So we can see that that is the time control, 15 minutes, 15-second increment to Comey, and it is a tournament game. So really, really well played for those 2 players. And if you look at the rating disparity between these two, 2,096. Currently the top-rated player on PlayTac versus 1797. UnSweet, again, just horribly underrated in terms of the ranking because he doesn't play bot games pretty much ever. So, whereas the other people in the top 10 will play bots, like you see, Fwib, who's I think ranked number 3 right now on PlayTac, is playing Crumbot, which is a bot that is ranked pretty highly and is a sort of where a lot of the top 10 players get a lot of their ranking, is Crumbot and Argbot, those blitz bots that beat so many people. But let's see. Oh, did he finally make? No, he didn't finally make a move. I thought he had. I was mistaken. Yeah, if you did see one of the Blitz tournaments recently where we played for a long amount... Ooh, he dropped the wall. Never mind. Okay, so he dropped the wall at d5. I was thinking about that move because it does stop that wall from moving right or up and down. It stops that threat, basically. And so I think that was a pretty solid move. Very defensive, though, and keeps him sort of behind on flats, but I think that it was necessary in this case. Now, if I'm white, what do I want to do? Do I want to play maybe at f2 here? Maybe at b1? f2, b1. I'd say b1 first, maybe, and then f2. No, maybe F2 first, because then maybe you can go for the vertical along the F column. Oh, white's gonna go ahead and make that +2 flat count differential move. And it's currently not a tack threat, as the capstone cannot smash that wall on D5 because it doesn't have the reach. It's just by itself right now. Would need a flat underneath in order to reach there. Now for black, what should black be doing at this moment? Maybe an F4 placement? He needs to be placing, that's for sure. And an F4 does a couple things. It connects to that side of the board. He's not going to be able to make a... Okay, he does do that. He's not going to be able to make a tack threat going horizontal at any point because that whole left side of the board is basically off limits right now with white's threat and then those two black walls. Just a lot going on in that direction. So I think the F4 is good because it can build towards that vertical threat. And now white is noticing that and playing up at F6 as well to sort of protect maybe that flat on F5. Now black, let's look at the flat count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 12 because of the Comey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So white is up by 2, even with the 2 Comey for black right now. Ooh, fun stuff. This is going to be tough for black to come back from. White basically has a fantastic position here. And in addition to having a fantastic position, is ahead on flat count. So it's going to be really tough for black to make a comeback from this position. Maybe playing here at F2 could be the start of it. He instead goes for the F3, which I think is fine too. That also works, but I think F2 might have been better. But that citadel is nice as well. F2 place now for white. Okay, so now they're going for this. I like this idea for white playing at F2. It protects the E2 spot. And white can start building maybe in that horizontal direction at B1, maybe come down with that capstone, threaten the B2 wall with a smash. There's a lot of options that white can take from here. Black is pretty limited at the moment and is going to need to play very, very carefully to not get stuck in a situation they can't get out of. All right, so the E1 gets placed. The trouble that black is going to have, okay, exactly what I was looking at before. The trouble black is going to have here is connecting to that top row to row 6. They don't have any options to do that immediately, and they can't fill in at any point. Also, black's got to be careful of the board fill at this point. There's only 2 spots left. If black places, white wins, because white already has the +2 flat count advantage right now. So black needs to make a capture if he wants to stay in this game. And he needs to make a capture, leaving behind an empty space. I think. Basically, yeah. What can white do here? There's a potential for black being able to smash his own stack here at A3, or smash the stack up here at C6. I don't think either of those would lead to an immediate loss for black, but black is running out of options very quickly and needs to come up with something, or he's toast. Gotta come up with something quick. So yeah, because he's in desperation mode, black might need to make the smash on C6. He instead plays E6 minus. Okay, not attack threat. White can fill in here at E6. Does do that. So I'm looking at this bottom part of the board. If white probably noticed it while black took their turn that it's close to a board fill. White can fill in again, and this time it's attack threat by filling in here at D5. So placing a white flat at D5 and then E6 minus is a road. I can't see black winning this game. It's basically impossible. Black is not going to be able to take this. But he is going for some desperation moves, and I commend that. Also keeping white from doing a board fill, and keeping white's attention up here, keeping white from bringing D3 minus. Okay, we see the D4 placed now, so filling in yet again. No attack threat right now from white, but it is close to a board fill. Black's going to need to make yet another capture. There's a lot going on in this one. So, yeah, black is basically without hope at this point. I would be tempted to just resign, just because I would know I can't win from this position. White's done too good of a job controlling the flat count and controlling liabilities and whatnot on this board. And so it's definitely a tough one. So we do see black make a self-capture with that wall, and now is able to make a +3 move, moving left. So that's excellent. And, okay, that's actually a really great move. Well, absolutely well done. Able to make this +3 move on the next turn, and that would stop the attack threat that white could make by doing D3 minus. So white instead decides to play up at D6. Strong play. Okay. What are we looking at now? Okay, so we see 45 plus. I don't get it. Was I missing something? Okay. That gets played. Why doesn't he move left? Oh, okay. I get it now. He moves this upward so he could spread it across. Now, black is going to need to bring this A2 minus. No, that won't work. He needs to... There's nothing he can do. Is this Tinue? I think it's Tinue. No. Black brings the capstone down. Black brings capstone down to C2. This was the move I was waiting for, this capstone coming down onto D2. But in order to stop that, this capstone on C3 needs to come down to C2, and I think that's the only way to stop all the threats that white has going on right now. White can renew the threat just by placing it D3, and I think moving this stack up here was a mistake. Having it able to come across to the left and cut off this whole vertical line was absolutely imperative. So that's a bit of a blunder, I'd say. But, I mean, in such a... There's just such a hopeless position almost for black that I get it why he did that. Playing up here so he could come across, make the +3 move, and leave a black flat here to make the tack threat. But white ruined that tack threat by coming down and creating another tack threat. But, yeah, I believe black can move down onto C2 with that capstone. And that's really the best move, I think. Moving to B3 also works, but I don't think is great. Actually, I don't think either of the options are great, but I think those are the only options he's got, moving that capstone to either B3 or C2. Man, this one is brutal. Absolutely brutal. Nohat putting on a masterclass on flat placements and how to control momentum. And UnSweet down to under 2 minutes on the clock, and Nohat just under 15. So he does make the capstone move onto C2. This is where we're likely to see either D3. Yeah, I think D3 is likely. So we do see that, and that's a tack threat by either placing up here at D5 or over here at C3, or by moving C5 minus. All of those are tack threats, or all of those are roads. So black is going to need to stop all of those. The only way to do that is by doing E3 left, I believe. Or E1 plus also works. E3 minus also works. I like E3 minus. And the reason I like E3 minus is it cuts off the threat and also is able to come left for a road threat on E2. So I'd say E3, F3 minus. Yeah, F3 minus here is the move I would make myself. But UnSweet also does have under a minute left on the clock. He missed that threat. Spread down, but not far enough. White wins by placing and making a road. Well played, both players. Nohat and UnSweet, you both played really fantastic in this match. Nohat putting on a masterclass on how to really maintain momentum and excellent flat placements. Really fun games to watch. Excellent. Anyway, that is all for right now. Be sure to check out the description below for all things TAC, specifically the TAC Discord server, which is the community hub and where you can find all sorts of people to play with online in basically every time zone. And you can play them in PlayTAC, or you can play them asynchronously through the Discord itself, meaning correspondence games that don't have a time limit on them. You can play one move a day if you'd like to. Great for fitting in TAC games when you don't have very much time. Anyway, that is all. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and happy tacking.